Sure.
Awesome. But I think that makes us live right now. So that means that we got to stop shit talking to everyone, which is mostly shocker. Mostly shocker.
Wait, somebody...
100%.
Wait a minute.
100%.
Are we like lagging or anything?
A little bit. Hold on.
Okay. I'm not showing any strain on my end for the system, so.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
It's good?
There you go. Yeah, it's good. Let me post it.
Oh, we already got some people in here. We got Beetlejuice in here.
This is episode 8? Is this episode 8?
This is episode 8, dude. We're basically on season 2. The stream's good, though?
Stream's good.
Beetlejuice is
You got a little
saying good.
facial hair, dude.
Yeah, dude. All right, so I don't have to go into the office for a couple weeks, so we're just rolling with it right now. Wow, Economancy coming out strong already.
Is this facial hair? This is like the Chris Pratt Navy SEAL type look, or the?
Yeah, we're going for.
Well,
so we're doing the reverse Goose, whatever he's called in Top Gun, where everyone's doing the mustache right now. We're just gonna do everything, just everything. So
there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to MUME Talk 8. Today's special guest, we've got Daki, also plays Cyndane, and do you mind if I say your god? Is that cool? Hello, Cyndane?
You can say literally anything your heart desires.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. I will do exactly that. But he also plays Toby, Akas. I know there's a bunch of other characters. Ayul there. A bunch of other characters out there. Thank you so much for being on this one. And without further ado, let's get into the beginning segment. So right off the bat, we got to talk about the war. So right now we got Ziranovsky as the #1 warlord on the western side. Now every time I see his name, I really think about what you were saying, Mike, about like he might be Elistair, and now I'm like,
I think maybe it is.
It sounds like a really.
Do you know who it is? Cyndane? Or what's your pod name? Cyndane? Yeah. Do you know who Ziranovsky is?
I do not.
I have a theory. It's Elistair. But,
I don't know if I believe that.
It's a
feel free to shoot it down. It's a straw man. Feel free to shoot it down.
Isn't Elistair like Estonian or something? It kind of fits. Anyway, on the
Ziranovsky was an ultra-fascist Russian politician. So it is. You would think it would be a Russian, but just based on like seeing him play a few times, it's similar to Elistair's playstyle to me. So,
well, how many people follow him at any given time?
I've only seen him solo.
Then it's not Elistair.
That might be true. That's a good, shrewd observation. I like it.
I don't know. I can't. Do you know many Russian? I mean, if your point is saying, oh, it's a Russian name before it has to be Russian. Do you know many Russian players that like play? Like, do you know many Russian players who play solo?
No, usually they're in like that group of 3.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, the mystery is still to be solved. Who is Ziranovsky? Anyway, we got Zud as the #1 warlord for the East. Or not the East. I guess he's the East. Forces of the Dark Lord. Yeah, that's what we're going on right now. We all know who Zud is, so we don't have to, there's not a lot of mystery there. Hey, but a couple shout outs real quick. Huge congrats to Ginger, who just hit level 100 on his troll. That's pretty freaking awesome. I don't know if there's been any recent level 100s within the last couple months, so he's like the big one for this time period, I guess.
The other thing I want to call attention to is the fact that he did it in Balrog's throne. So
did he really?
Yeah, the Graven throne.
That's amazing. What did he kill there? Balrog?
I mean, it's a safe assumption.
Well, I guess as a troll you can't like lead something in there or whatever. Balrog would have to be dead. That is really freaking cool, which also means there was a Darky Balrog recently. Anyway. Other than that, we've had a bunch of newbies in the game, a ton of people on recently. A large part of that's probably Rings of Power. I don't know if you guys seen it yet, but I liked it, so I recommend it. But without further ado, I guess we'll get into some quick interruptions real quick. Cyndane, can you interrupt us with your introduction real quick? Just give a little spiel about who you are and everything.
I can absolutely interrupt you. It's one of my favorite things to do.
No, sure.
I started playing in like the end of 1999,
Mm-hmm.
and I played for about 3 years before I got a hero, and that's playing like every day. I had a problem.
Nice.
Um,
As we
I
all
would
did.
I would mob die at level 13 and go, well, this character's effing ruined. Screw this, I'm out. And then I would make a new one.
And now you do that at level 50.
Oh, 100%. And I'm ashamed of this. I'm not going to lie to you. I went probably my first 6 months of playing, not realizing there was a rent command and just making a new character every time I played. And I was just so baffled by how there was like level 40 characters. I'm like, how much time do you guys have? I was not a smart child.
So you thought it was like an arcade, basically.
Yeah, I was not smart at all, actually.
You thought you were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the arcade game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So like I would try to like leave my account idle, and if I disconnected, I was like, son of a yeah, it was the whole thing. I took I played a lot in the 4 to 5 range, something, I don't know. Time is relative. I played Boda a lot. My first BN Legend. I pretty much have exclusively PK'd. It's my favorite thing about this game. Dark side is my favorite side, but lately I've been playing Puke just because it's easier to find people who are willing to fight, which is a shame, but it is what it is. I took a break for a while there. Real life got in the way. And then I came back, I don't know, what was that, 2017, maybe? And I played Puke for about 3 weeks just to remember how to play the game. And then I played nothing but Darky up until about 6 months ago or a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I started grouping with Shocker the minute I started playing Darkside, and I pretty much exclusively play with him. And he was like in his high 30s, low 40s when we started playing together.
Shocker was in his 30s?
30s or 40s when we started playing together.
That's crazy. I don't even remember when that was. When was that?
2017, 2018, something like that.
I only ever remember Shocker being like a high level character.
Yeah. I don't have Twitch, so I can't comment, but just by seeing the "Do you even smob?" That is just wow toxic. All right, Puerto Rico. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining us today. We're hoping to get a lot of insights onto the evil side of the war in the upcoming discussion. We're not going to go too deep into the introductions from Mike and I. I think most people kind of know who we are by now, but I'm Peter. We'll go by our screen names because we got 2 mics in here. So I'm Slaya and Mike or Taryn.
I'm Taryn.
There you go. Nailed it. Perfect. Awesome. So, without further ado, we got to get into actually some news updates. So, the Hobbit changes came out, and were the rent changes this week or last week? Last week, right?
That was last week, dude.
We
had an epic celebration.
Absolutely. Have you had a chance to like play with the either of those updates, the new Fallohid Hobbits changes and the rent updates, Cyndane?
I am not. I'm reading it as we speak, and every Hobbit. I don't like hobbits because hobbits are food, not
you
friends.
Fucking racist. Jesus.
100%. I hate them. But that being said, the hobbits I do have are Fallohid hobbits, so it is actually pretty convenient now that I'm reading these because my Fallohid hobbit is a hobbit thief cleric combo. So this is going to be pretty fun for him.
You're gonna have all.
Yeah, I actually thought they were really nice buffs. I was actually surprised. I thought they were kind of overly generous. I'd be curious. Does anyone know? Maybe anybody in the Twitch. Does anybody know? So you get when you mix, you get the equivalent of 2 levels of upgrades. Does that mean that you can produce 2 potions from even an unupgraded kit?
What it does, I do know the answer to that. The upgrading the kit, all it does is increases your success rate, and occasionally, like if you have a maxed out kit, you get the chance of making 2.
Right.
But now, if it's maxed though,
Well, no, even if it's just a +1, you
yeah, +1, you get the 2. Right. But so this Fallohid upgrade is now every time a Fallohid or whatever mixes, they have the equivalent of like +2.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Does that stack?
So I'm sure it's
so like you could have a +10 basically.
+9. Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
But does that mean just like you just go to the store, you buy a herbal kit, you mix traveling, you instantly have a chance of producing 2 mugs?
Yeah,
I wonder.
I think so.
That's what that would mean to me by reading it.
Mm-hmm. And
I just didn't know if the dice roll on success of the mix is separate from the capability, the dice roll on the 2 mugs. But wow, I thought those are really nice buffs. Those are like quality of life buffs that are going to like impact every session or every other session over the entire life of the character forever, really. So I think those are really nice buffs.
Yeah, I'm really glad they did them for Pukes though, because I think Pukes need all the buffs they can possibly get. I don't think that they're already incredibly stacked in every way, shape, and form. So we need to give them as much as humanly possible. And on the same token, I think the dark side is incredibly overpowered, and they need to be nerfed into the ground. Like just nerf them completely.
Wait, what needs to be nerfed?
Darkies in general, they're too strong.
Okay, you think they're too strong? Shocker is having a conniption somewhere right now.
I don't know if you noticed it, but that was probably the most intense sarcasm I've ever given.
I'm going to ignore all of that sarcasm right now and just take you on your face value. Rogan wrote it down, and now he's about to nerf. He's coming up with nerfs right now.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But no, I haven't. Do you guys know what the smoking bonus is though? With the there's like an extra special smoke you can now do with the Fallohides, right?
Well, basically, when you smoke a pipe, you have a choice of either A, losing all your mana, B, nothing happening, or C, getting an increase in your mana. But it looks like the Fallohides now can't lose mana, and they're just gonna more than likely gain more mana per smoke.
Yeah, so it says you can't like fail a smoke now, but it said like there was an extra possible like benefit, like an extra like special smoke. I thought it was in the thing.
Especially gratifying probably just means more mana. Instead of getting 20 mana, you'll get 30 mana or whatever the case may be.
That'd be pretty cool. I wonder if there's like a separate message. I haven't experimented with that yet, but I should. Slay as a Fallohide. Yeah, those changes were pretty cool. Really cool, nice quality of life. I love the TP thing. The TP thing.
That's huge.
Yeah, especially for groups, like especially lobies. Lobies need to get with, or newbies need to get with Fallohides. That's the deal now. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into some PK stuff. So, Mike, before we get into anything, oh my gosh, Cyndane. Before we get into anything else, have you PK'd recently? What was your last kill?
I unretired Daki, my Zork thief. And within half an hour, I killed, I don't know how to say his name, Joko, DJ OKO, who had a huge stone giant and a light orc charmy, without stabbing him. So that was fun.
Wow. Shooting or something?
Well, so I stabbed him by slag, and then it was in the sun, so he steamrolled me. But then I had healing up, so I ran into Orc Camp, hoping he would follow me, and he did. So I heard a death cry from the south because he was killing the troll mobs. So I hit him, fled him north, and closed and picked and killed him.
Wow, you were able to get a pick off before he could open?
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Oh, I fled him north, closed, hit him. He fled east, a mob hit him, so then I picked south while he was unable to get back west.
For some reason, I thought that Orc Camp wasn't pickable anymore.
No, they fixed that. Thank God.
They changed it back? Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm
glad pickable.
Glad that Mike and I, oh my God, Taryn and I, and we've been PKing a bit recently. It has not gone exceptionally well. It's gone somewhat well, but a lot of getting wrecked in the process for sure.
I heard about that, and you know what? You're 3 hours before me, and I have a newborn, so I'm gonna have to stay up 3 hours later just to kill you, and that's just not cool, man.
Yeah, well, There is that. But except you're not gonna kill us, Mike. All right, Taryn and I, we've been working on this. We've got a plan now. We're starting to get a lot better.
You guys are adorable.
If was it Ignacio? All right, so we were chasing Ignacio around VT the other day, and we came up with I came up with this like terrible plan. I'm like, let's do it, man. And Taryn's like, maybe not. That's not the best idea. I'm like, no, let's do it. Anyway, we totally like got off the wrong, like not on the same page, and I just like fled into VT and then died. Or not fled. I walked into VT with all their mobs up and just died. That goes to show like first of all, Ignacio, I want to do that bad, but then second of all, like we're working on it. We're getting better. We're getting better, but sometimes there's mistakes that happen for sure. Faye says hi, by the way, to everyone. Anyway, but yeah, so given that you spend most of your time PKing on like a Zog, especially, right? Like Thief is your zone, pretty much, right?
Yes, Thief is my absolute favorite, regardless of whether it's Puke, Zork, or Tark, or BN. I play all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you the really quick rundown on it. There's two different ways to be a thief, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the way that every human being hates, which is how Iolo plays, and that's lurking around when other people are fighting and then stealing kills or re-killing with stab and then running away. Just generally being a nuisance. And then there's how I play thieves. And I think the reason that I am as effective as I am with them is because I can't remember the last time I actually got a kill from stabbing somebody, unless it was inside Bree or Fornost or Blue Mountains, which is really satisfying to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of shots fired here. I think Odd just got a kill actually the other day inside Bree.
Oh yeah, I did something with my BN Thief Mage and I killed Recon in Bree.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. No, I think Odd did one as well. So I guess that's a common thing right now.
Hey, Peter, do me a favor and who is Docky real quick so you can see it in the.
Who is Docky? All right. Hashtag never safe. Using all your strength, you tear off the head of the corpse of a hobbit and spike it onto the end of a pole. Yep, that rude, dude.
The hashtag never safe. That's actually one of my favorite things because I kill people regularly inside Vale, not Village, inside Vale. I kill people inside Nock. I kill people inside Bree. I was the reason that they changed Nock Gate.
Oh, really?
So you couldn't so you couldn't sneak in there anymore. Oh, yeah, that was my fault.
Damn.
But I kill people. In BM. I try to go where people don't expect to see you. So that's quite fun.
See, I actually appreciate that. Like, I don't know how Taryn, what you think on this, but like I enjoy the fact that there's no true, or there shouldn't be any true safe spots. I don't like the fact that in Lorien and Rivendell that they are true safe spots. But I love the idea that's like, okay, you can be 90%, 99% safe, but like you got to watch out. I like that feeling, you know?
Exactly. That's why I love Zork, because it's the most fun race. Like you can be like, I don't think every other race, whether it's Darky or Puke or whatever you want to play, there is a safe place for you to get to within 100 rooms. Zork, on the other hand, there's no such thing as safety at all. Like do you know how easy it is to charge somebody in Zok?
I've done it. Yeah.
All you need is somebody with Quake, and then boom, Gate Mob's dead. You can get in there and finish people off. Granted, it does repop very easily, very quickly, so it's kind of nerve-wracking. But when you're on Zork, it's like you are the only. You run out of draughts, you're game over. Like it's a survivalist version.
Well, Economancy does bring up a good point that a lot of the players are AFK, and no one likes to die AFK. You know, that's a good point. So maybe there should.
I don't know if you know this or not, but there is a command called Rent.
Oh, really?
It's the thing that disconnects you from the game, so you can't die when you're not playing.
I guess so. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. I already hate Rent in general. So,
hey, they fixed it. They fixed it.
It's a lot better. It's way better. So much better. But so
Okay, I don't complain if I die because my baby's crying. All right, let's put that up there.
that sounds like it. Some beef starting in the chat. But all right, so as a primarily thief player, there haven't been a lot of changes to thieves in the last couple of years. Aside, you got the BN Dark Oath, which is thief focused for sure because it's got the negative mana regen effect. But in general, thieves have not gotten a lot of changes. You know, we've got some changes to shaman, etc. So, what are some things that thieves are not very popular, or scouts, I should say. They're just not very popular in MUME for the most part. What are
because
things?
they were hit with the nerf hammer so bad?
You mean like the old sneak problem?
Yeah, the no sneak is a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Also, with the level rescaling, thieves actually took the biggest hit out of any other class.
Really? Why's that?
Because everything's awareness went up. So you can't stab even mobs. Like you can't. It takes so much longer to actually land a stab on everything because everything scales up.
Mm-hmm.
And thief is also hard because it's the only class that has, when you try to use their primary skill, there's like 3 or 4 things that go into effect of whether it's going to land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a mage with fireball where you have the percentage to cast fireball, you're going to cast it, and the damage is slightly variable.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to backstab, it's your sneak, the terrain, the opponent's awareness, your backstab level. And then when you start the stab, it takes all of that math into consideration, in addition to your OB, your strength, and your percentages on sneak and backs. Like, there's so much that goes into it that it's so much harder to land anything.
It's hard to land a backstab, but it shouldn't have really changed, like sneak shoot, for instance. That should be more or less the same, right?
That has not changed too much, no.
Yeah. Okay. So really,
except for no sneak did completely abolish that, but
to a certain extent, for sure.
To an exclusive extent.
I mean, escape is very powerful. So,
have you ever eaten a bash in an escape delay? Because I've killed so many people like that.
I was thinking more in terms of like the fact that you can kind of choose which direction you're leaving in. That is very powerful. Like you can't do door traps, you know, in the same way.
True, but look at the log of that you just did the battle cast on with Cal versus Itsit. Cal tried to escape and he ate the bash that let him get black breath and then die.
Yes, that
so
is
Thief
true.
has a lot of negatives because they're weaker against spells. Because generally speaking, will is a dump stat.
Yes.
And I'm just going on orcs for that one. You're talking about BN thieves, and they don't have. There's. I was number 1 warlord on Akas for I don't know a couple of months. Oh yeah, just to see this note here and reveal quick. Thief is the only class that their entire usefulness is gone away with the words reveal quick or flush quick. There's no command you can do to stop somebody from starting a fireball.
You know, like, I see what you're saying with that. So like, what would you say then are, so they're clearly the least popular class, or at least anecdotally, would you say that's accurate, that they're fairly unpopular?
Yes, and the people who play them, not to shoot more shade, but the people who play them the most commonly, like Odd, for example, who I don't really shoot shade on him because he's a BN thief. Mm-hmm. If you don't land a stab, you can do nothing. Like there's nothing you can do except die.
Yeah.
Orc has a couple other survivabilities, but like when you go with someone like Iolo, for example, there's no. That's why people hate players who play scouts.
Mm. Well, and also I don't think that. I mean, even from a newbie perspective, I don't know if a lot of them play it. Actually, is Beetlejuice still in chat? I think Dahar, one of his newbies, might be a scout. Yeah, he is a scout, actually, so he has tried it. But, so if it's an unpopular class, should it stay unpopular, or should there be some changes? Like, what could you do to make it more of an interesting and compelling class for people?
Give things to do other than backstab.
So you're not saying rebalance. You're saying it kind of needs to be revamped a little bit.
One of the things I actually have been complaining to the gods for a bit here would be, I actually am a huge proponent for lowering stab damage.
Yeah.
But making it actually landable.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you should be able to, like, backstab quick, which does, I don't know, like a half or a third of the damage of a regular backstab. And yes, implement 100% of Nazgum's suggestions. That gives you so many different options other than sneak around when other people are fighting. And, that's funny. I'm sorry, I just read something. And it gives them something other to do than lurk around other people's fights, and gives things to do other than steal other people's kills or vulture re-kills and things like that. It gives much needed life. Like, for example, causing wounds that actually make the characters harder. Like, for when you have a combo that has 18 strength with spell, if I go ahead and I inflict a wound on you, it's like, oh, it lowers your strength. It makes you a little bit less overpowered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So would you say, like, boosting wounds would be a huge way of making that more viable? So, like, let's say you land a stab more reliably, less damage, but the wound is way more impactful. So basically, like, you land a wound and your moves just go to absolute shit, kind of a situation. Would that
right?
be...
Or you can exacerbate wounds. So, like, I hit you and it gives you a light wound, and I can use a different skill to, hit that wound and make it bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be huge. Or, like, you know how warriors have kick, which people don't really use that often, but it's really good for smiters because it's like a quick way to do damage and interrupt.
Yeah.
What about something like circling, where you're a thief and you're quick? Thieves are quick. They have high dexterity. They just sneak around and give you like a jab in the back, right? Not a backstab because you know it's happening. They're just faster than you, but it does a hard hit and causes a wound. Like, there's tons of different things you can do other than stab, flee, which is pretty much what exists now for most players.
Yeah. The circle round mechanic sounds kind of interesting. But basically what you're saying is there needs to be more mechanics for thieves, that they're too limited right now.
Yeah, there needs to be more mechanics, and at the same token, less mechanics, because so many things go into effect for a backstab.
Mm-hmm.
No other class has anything that all of that has to go into their primary damage skill, and every other class has multiple ways of doing damage except thief.
No, I agree. It's especially given, all right, so obviously you've got Pierce and you've got Shoot, and Shoot is powerful, don't get me wrong, but the fact that backstab is, I would say, conservatively 70% of a thief's kit is strange to have everything loaded, front loaded into something. I mean, I guess Warrior kind of has the same with Bash to a certain extent, but
warriors don't really fail bashes. Pure warriors don't really fail bashes.
They don't fail bashes, and if you're a defensive warrior, bash might not be as important. But you do need backstab as a thief.
And then here's another follow-up point there. Have you ever tried to shoot somebody with a bow that's wearing full metals?
Of crossbow, yeah.
Well, other than crossbow, because I love the crossbow. It is the greatest, most broken item in this entire game.
The crossbow is apostle.
That's exclusively the only reason Akas was for like forever many months.
Mm-hmm. Akas is your BN thief?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair. So, from a Zog perspective, then, obviously the least played race, and it should be. It's supposed to be the most difficult, kind of like a pain in the butt. I've been leveling up a Zog recently, and it has been so much freaking fun because it's so thematic, and the difficulty is really I would say a plus, not a negative, because you're just like every moment you're thinking about something as opposed to a lot of the other races.
Mindless hit, dash, follow, AFK.
Yeah, like,
you have to think. You have to play it smart.
Right.
You have to change the way you navigate. You can't walk on the main roads because if you take main roads, people are going to track you. They're going to find you. And they're going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to change everything about how you play has to change with Zork, which is thoroughly satisfying.
Mm-hmm. And like right off the bat, in order to get like any equipment, you have to take your life in your hands and do this rather advanced dance with a patrol in order to lure it in to like you feel like you're almost like you're in the war like immediately. It's a really just awesome mechanic. Dealing with all that difficulty. But what are some way? But the fact that there is only a couple players. I mean, if you've got 2 players or 3 players on Zog at any given time, that's a party. Can
I tell you why people don't play it as much? I'll give you one of the main reasons.
Sure.
Taking the fact that it's hard out of the equation. If you're not road killing, it's nearly impossible to kill people because there's no pickable doors in the vast majority of places. People can just bash doors. You don't have a block. You don't have a way of stopping people from getting away from you. You have to road pack 3 smiters and then just pull the Norsu. Poison dwarf swords and just spam people down. And you need that's the only way really to get kills as Zork. And it's disheartening because you run around forever and you finally find a group and you're like, okay, this is going to be fun. And oops, they go into, they're in Dunland and they go to Rohan, and then that's game over. Can't do anything there.
Yeah.
Or there's always, you can't stop people from doing anything.
Yeah.
You can't block them in anywhere. You can't. It's not as fun.
Yeah. So, but all right. So what you're saying is basically allowing orcs in general, because these are like any change that would help with Zogs would essentially help with Tarks as well. So any change which would help Zogs would also help Tarks. So like let's say you allowed more doors to be pickable throughout Arda or something. Wouldn't people just play Tark Narb then as opposed to Zaugurz?
Depending, because like for example, it takes a specific breed of masochist to play Zork, right? And I definitely play masochistic characters because re-equipping on a Zork, it means something. It's not like it is on Puke when you can go to the store and buy a Gilded and you can buy the EBS and you can buy a full fine metal set. You want something, you have to get it. Like you have to drastically increase your knowledge of the game to know where this is where a fine plate loads. This is where the fine greaves load. This is where the great helm loads. And you have to go earn all of your equipment. And in the day and age that I'm noticing now, people don't want to earn things. They just want everything given to them. So you're always going to have less people playing Zork. But on the same token, it's going to be not as... it would be more enjoyable for the ones that do play it if we had the chance of killing things when they don't want to die.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough.
Like I died on Daki with Shining Metal to you and Moria because you wanted the fight and I wanted the fight, so we fought. If you didn't want to take that fight, there was no way in God's green earth I would have been able to fight you. And that's a severe detractor.
Well, that gets into a lot of other things where you could definitely add more options pretty much to everyone to shape the battlefield a little bit, where you can have more than just picking and blocking to stop someone. Like perhaps you could drop snares or
exactly
bears, for instance, have none of those options. They can't even pick. So maybe something could be done on those lines.
That would be fun.
Karina's is saying pukes don't need more options, so they would have to be Dark Age specific, probably.
Yeah,
I'd
like to talk about that too, just real quick. A log was posted not that long ago of me on my pure smiter orc warrior, like almost 500 hit points, an absolute tank, versus a puke mage in metals. And I used either 3 or 4 blue scrolls, and I still died to the dude in a 2-roomer because he tickled me to death, because I would bash him and it would do nothing because of the puke power creep, which is obscene. Like he all he had to do was flee and type armor and then push no more buttons. Like my character is designed to beat the hell out of things with a giant massive sword, and it was doing nothing. So like Zorks they don't get any benefit from that.
Yeah.
Even Tarks don't really get benefits, or BNs don't get benefits from that, because everything that seems to be changing, and I can't thank the gods enough for the changes they're doing. I thoroughly appreciate all the effort and work they're putting into this 30-year-old game that I've devoted the vast majority of my life to.
Yeah.
But on the same token, every single thing that's done is increasing the power creep for the puke side. Everything. And what was the last thing that was nerfed?
Well,
A Darky Artifact. Morgul was nerfed because people whined. And yet, the Sting one-shots orcs and has for hundreds of years. And no one says anything.
So it might be a little unfair to say that, though. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. Morgul Blade did get nerfed. But on the flip side, shamans were changed. BN's got some new abilities. Like, you can't say that Darks has been completely ignored.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Dark Oath does absolutely nothing for BN Thief except make it so they can run away faster. It doesn't do anything to actually make them viable characters in a war setting.
Disagree. Have you seen the log with Nazgûm? I think it's Glazia and Nazgûm, and they fight someone inside of Spirit Knight. And
that was me, actually.
Oh, that was you. That was you. There you go. Perfect. So yeah.
Right.
Like, would that fight have been possible without Dark Oath?
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, and I'm very thankful for that. But that's one log, and I'm the only one playing BN Thief that was able to take advantage of that. And name any other player that would have seen 3 pukes and 2 Mother Eagles and would have charged it with a BN Thief that died. I went wounded in 3 hits, right? And a BN that didn't have any Quake stored. So we should not have won that, and I'm not entirely certain that it had much to do with Dark Oath, as it was the pukes were not expecting it and then gave up immediately.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. So that being said, right now we're trying to get as many new players and old players back into the game as we can right now.
100%.
We've been seeing some massive growth recently, and it's been absolutely freaking awesome. What are some things from and we've been focusing a lot on newbies recently. We've been making changes to the newbie quest, or Jahar has been helping patch up the newbie starting sequence. We've been trying to make some changes, especially like with rent and everything, to make it so that people don't lose their equipment right when they start playing and everything. What are some changes that might be helpful if we wanted to bring back some older players?
So one of the things that I think that people love about MUME, and what sets MUME apart from any other game, is the PK aspect of things. And I understand not everybody likes that. I get that. But when I first started playing, Norsu was running around with his smiters, his pack of 3 that were basically one-shotting everybody. And all I could think about was, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to kill him. I want to be able to kill things. And the people who play now that are like really all about the PvE, and they get upset if they die. Not to shoot anybody's name out there, but that clown who plays Jack, Jaak, can't stand him. But he gets so mad if there's anyone dares to play. A
lot of beef on this podcast. A lot of beef.
Well, I'm doing what I was told. I'm following instructions. But I mean, like, I feel like a large part of that is they don't want to lose things, and they don't feel comfortable PKing, and they don't know how to do it right, and they haven't learned how to do it. Like me, for example, who did it for 20 years, when you could go and kill Yoga and get his Yoga set and be ready to fight again. So that's why my favorite thing Jahara has ever done was that April Fool's battle coach.
The battle coach?
Because that gave a quick introduction to PK. It helped you find gear, and it let you learn how the characters work. It let you fight. And I feel like if they did something along those lines more often, that would help people who don't know how powerful their characters truly are and are just afraid of it, and then they see one Darky and then they run straight to Blue Mountains. Now they're like, oh, I understand. I can read this better. I'm more experienced with it. I haven't lost anything. And they can actually try to fight, and that might bring more PK back to the game.
That's my 2 cents on that.
Could you? So how would you sum that up into like a concise like let's do this?
Battle coach with bold stars.
Do more battle coaches, but all right, so that was super fun for an April Fool's. The problem is like that's not day-to-day MUME, you know.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. Do that once a month.
Oh,
Let
okay.
people log in and try that, and then learn how to, like, how powerful spray is versus orcs, or learn how much damage harm does, or get an understanding of when things are so spammy. I'm seeing the spam, and I'm able to filter it over time and practice, letting people practice something they're afraid of without destroying their hard-earned smob time. And the people who spend all that time smobbing, now they actually do it for a reason, and I don't know. That's just my 2 cents about that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And so bringing up smobbing, actually, I couldn't help but listen to some of that. There was a little snark there with the smobbing. Do you think that darkies should be participating in that? Like what? So it seems like that's not really what your focus is in the game for the most part, because you're more on the PK side of things. But
well, there's actually a running joke that I don't know how to smob.
Oh, really?
That's a running joke that some that John and I, or Shocker and I, and also Bodo repeat to each other constantly, because somebody, and I don't remember if it was on Elven Runes or it was on Discord, they're like, "Oh my God, you need to stop talking. You don't even smob."
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I can lead any smob in this game better than anybody else. I know I've been doing it for so long. There's nothing about this game I don't know. But I don't like to play Darky to smob because it's so much less effective. Like look at it this way: if you're a puke and you're going to kill Murnog because you need an ornate hammer, right? Let's see, you're going to need a mage. Mages have spray. Those mobs are ineffective versus spray, so you just crush them. What am I gonna? Or gloom? You want some rocks? Okay, I'm gonna try. I need rocks on my shaman. What am I gonna harm shadows? Do you know how much harder and less pleasant that is? It's not fun. It's not that it's just
well,
so
right,
much more difficult for no reason.
So here's what I'm thinking here. So we've been trying to think of ways to make it PK more accessible to pukes, so that newer players and players who don't understand super mobbing or don't enjoy it as much can have more access to it. Because puke side should not just be the super mob side, but at the same time, darky side shouldn't just be the PK side. Like there should be more to darky than just finding people and killing people.
There should be, but it's just a lot easier to find someone on darky and take their stuff than it is to try to harm Murnog dead, or use shitty shaman blind to try to blind the mobs, or like you see pukes running around that can just solo almost every single smob in the game with their charmies and whatnot. But try doing that with anybody else. You can't do that on dark side. It's not effective. It takes forever, and it's just not a fun experience. Like for example, Magus in DG. Do you have any idea how long it took me to? I mean, I soloed that with Daki. It took me literally 4 hours straight to kill it.
I mean, I didn't even know it was even possible to kill that with a thief, to be honest.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed that one. But where's I did it just to say that I could do it, but where's the fun there? And on Zork, for example, if I want an ornate on a Zork, I have no option but to try to kill someone and take theirs, because I don't get access to chant. So I have to use an enchanted star and shitty metals on the off chance I can kill someone and take theirs. But I mean, that's why I stopped playing Darky as much lately. When I get the hour I can play here and the hour I can play there, is when I play Darky, all we do is run an Arda loop, not find any tracks, or just find a lobby and then feel bad that I just slaughtered a lobby.
Yeah. All right. So how do you fix that problem though? How do you add more gameplay to Darkies besides just PKing?
That's a hard question. That is a hard question, because
that shouldn't be how it is.
I mean, every single smob is not. There's no smob that darkies are effective versus. There's none.
So you would suggest making some kind of darky centric super mobs?
Well, I think that would.
For instance, Sage is way easier to do on a darky than it is a puke.
It's easier in the sense of you're not going to get PK'd doing it, but it's not really. It's actually the same difficulty, if not easier, for pukes to do it if you're not going to get jumped. Just block the 2 doors, and then you have puke blind, and you have puke blash and puke defense. It just steamrolls it.
So you would advocate though for more super mobs that are more darky centric.
Give me a reason to do it.
Like, what do you mean? What kind of reason?
Like there's no reason for darkies to smob because I can just kill the bloated equipment side of pukes and take theirs. So like make it so there's a reason for me to go smob. I mean, every time we play, I'll do gloom, no problem. It takes a little bit of time. I get rocks. It lets me pull stupid stunts.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Morgul Blade is useless. HBM is impossible for darkies to get because pukes just spam do Murnog and then hoard it, so darkies can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. I mean, look at BBT. A group of 2 can solo BBT in about 14 seconds, give or a sec. And then with that, you get Sting, which gives you 380 hit point stabs. There's no reason. There's nothing.
It can load Sting.
Right. But then again, is there anything effective versus puke that darkies don't automatically? I mean, that pukes don't automatically hoard. When was the last time you saw a huge black mace in game, other than when Zud just had it because he took it from Radion's corpse?
I mean, the Great Black Scimitar is in game constantly.
With Zud, I mean,
he's number 1 warlord, so he's clearly doing something with it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But yeah, huge black mace definitely is largely puke dominated, for sure. How would you? So I guess I'm confused on what your plan is here. So if you're saying that that it's difficult for darkies to get artifacts and it's difficult for them to do super mobs, what incentives are you trying to give them to have more fun playing than just killing pukes?
I mean, I don't. That's a really good question because I've never even considered. I just know that I don't like smobbing on darky because it's boring and unpleasant, and it's no point because on the off chance that you can get in between the pukes, crushing it in 30 seconds, and then hoping to God something loads for you that took you an hour to do. I mean, it's just easier to not worry about it. And I mean, I think a mirror quest for darkies would be just absolutely awesome. I do. I think something like that would be super cool. But like, okay, DG, for example. I think that is one of the coolest zones ever. But look at the new smobs that came out there. Everything is super max sanced. And you have to, it's just...
Well, I'm not a fan of the Sanks either. I'll give you that.
Like, Magus is the coolest. The first time I did that, it was probably the coolest smob I've ever seen.
Uh-huh.
But to waste an hour to kill this thing it's just a time spent. Like I think it would benefit from and I don't even think it would be that much more work. But Emin is the coolest freaking zone, but you go there twice and you never have to go there again.
Mm-hmm. So OpenWire says he helps Supermob on darkies all the time on Troll, and that aspect is being ignored, that darkies have to cooperate more than anyone else. So you're saying that there's more cooperation required on darky side in order to supermob?
Well, you need more people. That's a first sign right there.
Well, I mean, trolls are very powerful. You can 2-man Fricker with trolls, no problem. Like, no problem. You know,
I wouldn't say no problem because you still, like, I mean, you can ask Shocker about that. He mobbed a couple times.
Oh, did he?
But yeah.
Good. I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I don't know. I would say that so shamans are clearly worse casters and BNs are clearly worse casters, but the warrior side of darky seems just fine. Like trolls, for at least super mobbing purposes, trolls and orcs are amazing.
Right.
Pound for pound, they're better.
That's the thing. They have the OB malice, so they need to be in a group to have the same OB as, for example, Zorks. But on the same token, what spells the darkies have that are effective versus puke? None.
quick dispels are instantaneous. They take no mana and they do 110 damage on I mean it, and I'm not complaining about that. I don't want it to seem like I want darkies to be boosted to the same level. They shouldn't ever be on the same level as pukes because this is a good versus bad, and Tolkien loves the good. So I get that, but
maybe like harm, because harm has the darkness tag with smother. Maybe that should be effective versus like elves or something.
So that would be pretty chill.
Kind of like how lightning bolt is effective versus man.
But if you give me a dwarf versus an orc of the same gear and the same level, the dwarf will win every time.
Really? So why is that? Because a orc has better stats.
Dwarf goes wimpy. Dwarf has 160 defense. Goes wimpy with a hammer, just crushes the orc.
Do orcs have a defense malice?
They don't have an OB ring.
Okay, so you're saying it's all equipment. Right? It's all equipment based. That's the reason that they're better.
But generally speaking, dwarves have better dex and per as well.
That should be the same, right? Because orcs have 8 dex, and as a matter of fact, a dwarf has 7 dex and 7 per versus 8 and 8 on an orc.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Orcs have -3 will versus dwarves. So it's a will and I guess it's just a will and like intelligence difference there. It seems like you would have a little bit higher because you have at least +1 strength and +1 con and +1 dex and +1 per, which all help with your dodge and your abilities. Dwarves have equal con with the quest. That's true. But darkies have a lot of stuff too with regards to, you can have the orcish, what is it? What's it called when multiple orcs are in the same room?
They get the OB bonus from
exactly. You get OB
mob
bonus.
mentality.
You can also have the horn that helps. The dwarves have nothing that's like that. So like there are balancing factors. I think they take more coordination maybe. And I guess I think this was brought up in a previous podcast that darkies, because they tend to be more experienced players, oftentimes they actually don't have the best coordination because they kind of expect everyone to know and be on the same page.
Well, what they do, what I have noticed based on that, yes, it's everyone on dark side, they all know better.
Yeah.
So they don't follow someone. Everybody just goes their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they get picked off one at a time.
Yeah, it certainly can. And it means also that new darky players tend to get squashed pretty quickly because everyone has like their own play style. And so when things go wrong, they scatter instantly and leaves the less experienced darkies out to dry,
Yeah. Didn't that just happen recently with you the other day?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Poor guy. If Troth's in the chat, I'm sorry, Troth.
But it's a really good point. The rescue prax is very, very good observation there too, because if you have a BN and an orc versus an elf and a dwarf, it's nearly impossible for the BN and the orc to win unless they are fighting newbies or they were not prepared at all. Because all the dwarf has to do is protect the elf, and then the elf just nukes down the BN, and then just that's it. You can't hit the elf. Like, the elf can't be hit. The elf casts a lot faster. But I don't know. If I could pick one thing that would change, and the thing I think would benefit the most would be to remove metal wearing mages. So armor spells should not stack the way it does with metals, because that goes back to the log that I was talking about to you earlier, where the Orc Smiter got steamrolled by a puke mage wearing armor that casted no aggressive spells on me.
So in that respect, I am in full agreement with you. I don't think that mages or clerics have any business wearing metals. I think that's kind of silly. It kind of goes against I don't know. It's just like balance wise, it just doesn't. Number one, it's overpowered. Number two, it doesn't feel like what was intended at all.
Doesn't fit the aesthetic.
Yeah. But I'm a much bigger proponent of adding in new abilities and new counterplay than I am of nerfing stuff. So metal mages is a great example. As opposed to saying like, well, metal just sucks at mages. You could do that, but I would prefer if there was ways that metals interacted specifically with mages, which sucked.
Took away the spell speed casting.
Yeah,
so that way you don't get the bonus of the staff speed because you're wearing metals. Something like
or
that.
like electricity spells come back at you or something. Like I don't know. Like make it so like there's like
or fire spells just cook you alive. Like that'd be cool.
Well, there's basically just there's, as opposed to just being like just don't wear metals because they're too heavy. I feel like that's a pretty blunt and not.
Although I'm going to make an observation on something you just said there, and that's that you're more opponent for adding as opposed to nerfing.
Yes.
I know what I'm about to say is going to give raise Shulker's blood pressure a little bit here, but World of Warcraft, for example, does something that I think would be very beneficial in the realm of MUME, and that's every single expansion they come out with, they increase the level cap, right? So that means that you become more powerful. The same characters can be still played. They become more powerful. Eventually, it just becomes so broken that everybody is just a god running around. So what they do periodically is they just do the level nerf, where they just bring everybody back to level 100 max, and then they start to creep up again. There's been no negative to MUME. It just everything keeps getting more and more powerful. Yeah. And bringing it back to thieves are the ones who are getting screwed the most from this, because if everybody's level is going up, everybody's awareness is going up, and everything else is going up, can't land the stab. That is incredibly hard to land, and there's been no new skills or anything. Damage should be able to be done from a thief. So the reason that I was just called privately a where did it go? A crossbow goblin, because I use crossbows on literally every class now, because it's the only way that thieves can do damage when they're found.
Yeah.
Especially because Akash got number one warlord for so long, because everybody wears metals. So these crossbows are effective versus metal and a shit ton of damage. So that's the only reason that was able to be effective. The second anybody hit me or casted anything at me, I was deleted. And again, I don't think that part should be changed. They're supposed to be hard to play. I get that, but there should be other ways of accomplishing the killing.
Agreed. I think dying in repetitive ways is pretty annoying, and killing people in repetitive ways is also pretty boring. I don't know if you guys watch StarCraft or really any competitive esport game, but usually the kill moves tend to be pretty varied. There's a lot of like, oh, he did it this way versus that way, and especially
there's multiple dimensions. It's not one dimensional.
Especially with thieves, it's like, well, you either stabbed him or you shot him, one of the two.
Like, you wonder why YOLO doesn't post logs, because nobody wants to read a log of him stabbing someone who's trying to loot their corpse.
Fair enough.
Nobody wants to read that. Nobody wants to see that. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. There's no talent. There's no skill. It's just you lurk and you wait for someone trying to recover their corpse. I'm pretty sure that YOLO got about 10. Not really. You just sit there and wait for narrates. But I'm pretty sure YOLO got at least 10, maybe 11 levels exclusively from re-killing Zud.
Oh, really?
When he wasn't involved in the original kill.
Well,
I mean, granted, that's on Zud for not typing reveal quick, but I mean, still.
Yeah, it's tough to argue that reveal quick is too powerful, at the same time not use it. But it's a skill thing. It's tough to always remember all this stuff. To kind of like pivot a little bit here. So since you've talked about how difficult it is playing the thief class and how difficult it is, getting kills on Darky, since you can't manipulate the terrain or anything. You said that are you still on the Warlord list or?
No, I retired right after.
Okay. So how do you normally get kills? And what's your method?
Lately, what I do is when I group with, I have a standard group now of Bodo, who he's the Puerto Rican clown on Discord who goes by E, who like sasses everybody. Rogan's best friend.
and
We're gonna get censored on this podcast.
and Shocker, and it's the three of us. And generally speaking, Shocker generally plays the warrior type. Our most effective group layout is Shocker plays the warrior type, Bodo's on a type of cleric, and I'm on some kind of random ass character, whether it's like a thief or a thief combo or just some kind of all I make are stupid ass classes now, like the Hobbit thief cleric or the whatever the case may be. And what we do is we try to find somebody, and if they're not willing to fight, basically I don't follow John anymore. I just take off after them. John refers to it as letting the dog off the leash, because I just kind of do my best to corral them into places they're not comfortable with or get where they're going before they can, while John tracks behind and meets up with me when I get to them.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have, it doesn't seem like it, but we have a lot of tactic characters, which I think are tactic plays that we come up with on the fly. And one of my strong suits is the fact that even John over there will admit to this. I come up with the plans on the fly of what we're going to do, and they work almost always as long as everyone does what they're supposed to.
So you say like a crucial part of your PKing is the pre-planning, basically.
Well, when we're wandering around XPing, we always have, like, we'll have a conversation like, if this happens, do this. If that happens, do that. If this happens, do this. And then I've been playing with them long enough that I just trust that they're going to do what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we do well is like Eric just said there, we don't panic. And that's just something you learn dying so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Or being with, like, for example, Eric hasn't played as long as we have. I mean, he played before we did, but he took a long break there. And he just, if he's uncomfortable with a situation, he just does what John and I tell him to do, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are there any, like, from a Zaugurz Thieves perspective, or just a thief perspective, are there any like tips that you've learned, that you've acquired throughout the years, that are like crucial to the success in playing as a Zaug, like if you're going to PK or something?
Well, let's see. Crucial tips as PKing as a Zaugurz.
Or a scout, mostly a scout.
Or a scout. Be where they don't think you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, some of my favorite kills have been up in Blue Mountains or GH as an orc or a BN thief, because you shouldn't be there. So no one expects you to be there, and it's just fun to land kills up there. Or going into cities. Like, be prepared to die. You're gonna die. If things hit you, you die. You don't cure yourself. Your cure is trash. Yes, see, that what Eric said there too. With Zork in particular, you don't ride, so you don't take roads.
Mm-hmm.
So you travel ways around. So if every time you go somewhere, you travel from point A to point B to point C. On Zork, you go from point A and then you go at like a triangle. You just go off a different route, get to where they're going ahead of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as a solo scout, I don't get as many kills as I want anymore as a solo scout, because they are better in groups than people think they are, because the instant pick is always nice. The crossbow is absolutely obscenely overpowered if you use it right. Learn how the delay is, learn how to load it, learn when to shoot it. And I have a log somewhere of Akas killing a legend puke warrior solo inside Gilded.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, get yourself a crossbow, get it chanted, learn how to use it, and you'll be in good shape. But when it comes to group PKing as thief, I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on 1 second.
Unacceptable. I better hear
You sound like my
sneeze.
wife.
Fair enough.
It's, I guess, be unexpected and don't be afraid to die. That's like the biggest thing for it. Because...
So, do you use the hide command very much? Is that a thing that you utilize? You don't use hide?
No, not really ever. It doesn't work well. Everybody's awareness can just see you.
Okay.
It works well in forests. Like, if you're running very low, as a run into pine forest and hide, which is like a classic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that only works
because there's mobs that wander around in there that if someone tries to, odds are they're getting hit by a mob while you regenerate.
Mm-hmm. Do you usually when you're so I've always had trouble using a crossbow because in the crossbow in a PK fight it's difficult to be able to load it. What's your strategy for loading a crossbow during a PK fight?
Doors.
Using
doors. So I play on basically glorified telnet. Like I have alias O for open exit. So I do O space south to open south.
Mm-hmm.
I type alias OD open whatever door name I want. So I preemptively will do all of that. So that way I can go behind the door, load it real quick, and leave the room.
Gotcha.
So, and then what they do then is they open that door, they go in. I've loaded it and I've moved out. Then they go east and they flush. I just wait a few seconds and then shoot him after the flush is done.
Got it. Okay. Got it. And do you ever engage in like Pierce battles? Is that a thing that you do?
I've been playing more combo thieves lately. So no, especially on BN, you have no melee. So BN Scout has absolutely no melee ability whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So never rely on it. All you got to do is hope to God that somebody near you can protect you when you land shots.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like piercing with a nimble is super effective versus mages down because it's very fast, and when armor's down, pierce hits hard and fast. But when armor's up, it just tickles. It doesn't do it. So you don't get discouraged when you're piercing a mage and it's tickling, because all you're trying to do is knock the armor. As soon as the armor's knocked, it crushes them.
Gotcha. So, because yeah, there's actually a lot of great logs out there where it looks like the mage is winning pretty much the entire fight, and then armor drops, and then a couple, like 3-4 shots later, all of a sudden it's game over. You know?
Yeah, just avoid quakes. So it takes getting used to, because if you notice their armor's down, there's two things that dude's gonna do. He's gonna try to get his armor up, or he's gonna try to quake the room that you walk into to get shot to shoot him. So like if you see somebody flee out and then start casting, you have to make a snap decision on whether you want to continue the shot or back off and wait and see if he's quaking. Because if he's quaking and you don't eat the quake, it hurts him way more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
And if he's re-armoring, you just keep avoiding quakes and you win.
Yeah, because his quake's got that self damage. At least if you're underground.
They have a chance of it, yeah.
If you find yourself on the back foot though, and you're like, okay, I got to get out of here. Do you have any like escape strategies that you like to employ that works well? Because specifically on thieves, moves are a precious resource. Like once you're out of moves, you're out of moves. There's nothing you got left, you know. So how do you escape death?
I don't want to tell you this because you're going to use it against me. I'm on to you. You're just looking for ways to kill me.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's what's happening here.
Run 5 rooms and rest, because most people don't slow track you. They run to like where they think you're going to go. So run to the nearest crossroads and track to see if you're there yet. Run the opposite direction. So if you're by priest, right, run to the river and run over the river and rest. So that go towards Bree. They don't ever expect you to go towards Bree, so they're going to waste all that tribe. So like, what I would do if I was on the other side of that is I would run to Warrens, for example, if I was the puke, and I would tell Eric and John to slow track and see if they can find the tracks of the thief and find him. Meanwhile, if I was the thief, I would be going towards Bree, because who the hell is going to track that way?
Yeah.
And that gives me time to get my moves up, regen some health, and then make it. Don't always try to spam where you need to go. Don't spam to safety, because if you run to Brolg and you manage to get into Brolg and you're awful and icy and weak, you're gonna die, because if the person chasing you has any brain whatsoever, they're going to rush in there and kill you. So just because you get into something like Brolg does not mean you're safe. #never safe.
Never safe. So basically make sure that on the defense is the exact same thing as the offense, is never let them do the unexpected.
Exactly. Don't go the places that you're expecting to go to.
Got it.
That's a big one.
What are your thoughts on thief combos now that you've messed with them?
Oh my god, don't try to stab at anything. I have Thea, who's a level like 58 elf thief mage.
Yeah.
And that's probably my favorite character because I have that one balanced so well where I have 98% thief and I have like 82% armor. I can store 4 quakes. I can spray. I can bob. I can block. I can cast night vision, cure. I can stab perfectly fine as long as I'm in fists.
So 98% stab works well for you.
It works well because I have levels. B, I've learned that if you try to stab if you go to stab, for example, Berta with 98 sneak and stab, you're not going to do it. Don't even try.
If you're gonna, sorry, you cut out there a little bit. What were you saying?
If you're gonna stab like the place where the Rohirrim horse loads, like you're never gonna land a stab in there. It's indoors and there's multiple mobs. You'll never land a stab.
Yeah.
Like cave, I'm never gonna land a stab at cave. There's too many mobs in cave and warrens, and it's indoors.
Do you land it with a pure thief?
30% of the time.
Okay. All right.
So it's worth a shot as a pure thief.
Gotcha.
Like I got a shining metal set because I stabbed him cave when he was trying to bob a bunch of orcs that were low. And then he ran to 2 Alogs, and I ended up killing him.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I know a lot of people, especially on thieves, tend to just like run moveless, and then they're just dead, and it's just game over.
People expect you to run away.
Yeah.
Don't run away.
Keep attacking.
Just either keep attacking or run the wrong way.
And when you're playing thief, are you usually using plains, leathers, mails? Like
it depends entirely on the thief that I'm playing. John makes fun of Shocker makes fun of me. 30 thieves on my account, and he's like, "You have the same character." I'm like, "No, I don't, because this thief has 2 extra strength. This one has extra int for better picking and venom. This one has extra will as a test to see whether having high will affect the spell damage that I receive."
Gotcha.
Like I've tested all of them, and I generally it depends on how I'm trying to play too. If I'm playing by myself, I want to have Shining Chain, because I can, with my defense being stupid high on the thief, with Shining Chain you stand a chance against warriors. Not a strong chance, but you stand a chance. If they're under geared, you'll win.
Do you ever join that metal crowd, the metal thief crowd?
Only Shining Metal when I get it.
Only Shining.
Metal thief offends me.
Oh, really?
I find that to be the most offensive thing I can game. So I wouldn't do it at all, even though it's effective. I wouldn't do it. Fun little tip here: everyone tells you that you have to have your weight at a tad uncomfortable. You can have 300 pounds of weight you're carrying, and your stab success is the same chance.
Variant's pushing back on you, by the way. He's saying medals on every class.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. It works. It's just offensive to God and country, so I won't.
Oh, I see. It's just too good. It's too good. Fair enough.
It's just wrong. It's wrong.
Gotcha. Well, so we'll probably be getting into some hot takes before too long. I'll give you a little heads up so you can start thinking about it beforehand, because I keep giving this to people and they're like, "Wait, what is happening?" So there's like a 5-minute warning for you on the hot takes there, and Mike. Variant says it's so wrong as well. But yeah, so we've got a couple newbies that listen to the cast, I know, and a lot of them are trying to get into PK because they would love to be part of PK. I'm sorry, I always got to bring back to the newbies a little bit. They would love to be part of it. What's a good way for a newbie to get used to like not a legend? Do you have to be legend to get into PK, or is there another way?
It depends entirely on if you're a masochist, because some of my favorite fights I've gotten on level 20, level 15 even. But the problem is, it's so easy to level these days compared to how it used to be, that if you ever ask me to show you how to PK, I would love to teach you everything I know and show you how to do it all. Just the only rule is you're not allowed to bitch when you die, because you're gonna die. Just pretend you're not gonna have any equipment. You're gonna die. Get used to it. You know what I mean? Anything that's left is gift.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just died on my BN Thief Mage, and I had the freaking max set, like the best set you could possibly have, because I was testing the character out, and I got a bunch of lucky kills, and I just died like a freaking pig to Spartacus in corner alcove by Fornost.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go back because dude earned it.
Yeah.
Like, even though a lot of it was darky only equipment, I'm not going back for it. He got that. Let him get his mirror vorp. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. You can be just as effective with a max chanted heavy star set as you would with an ornate. Like, don't focus so much on you need the best gear to PK, because A, you don't, and B, it's just going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose it.
So Gorwalk was suggesting level up a troll. Would you suggest trolls as like an early stepping off point for PK learning? Or is that not a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea at all, because trolls get overkilled. Like, if a troll is sun trapped somewhere, everybody nearby is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the fun in that? You're just getting steamrolled. I would say if you want to PK, make a dwarf and ask for myself, ask for Stalker, Bodo, and just say that you're new to the game and you want to PK, and we will be thrilled to show you how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the main reason Shocker leveled up. Is he has some practice to help newbies and teach them and keep them alive. And I don't want to teach you how to XP. Figure it out. You walk around and you kill things. If it's starting to kill you, flee. Congratulations. Figure that shit out. You're a smart guy. You're playing a mud. You can't be dumb. But when it comes to PK, there's so many different tactics, different ways to learn when to move, where to move, how to move. And that's something that we would love to teach you, because we want the PK in this game to thrive. We don't want, like, I'll put it to you this way, right? Zud is a very good friend of mine. I really like him. A great guy. I don't want to overkill him because it's not fun. Like, I had an opportunity to trap him in DT with like 4 of us. I was in DT, and I'm like, you know what? This won't be fun. Yeah, I'll kill him, but where's the fun in that? It's hurtful. So, like, we want people to get good at PK so we can have good fights. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want the adrenaline from having a great fight.
So I'll push back a little bit on the... I'll push back
real quick.
Yeah.
One thing real quick. He says you did kill him when he was literally asleep in life. That's because Shocker led him into village knowing that he was asleep. So it was either I killed him or he mobbed. Fuck you, John. Carry on. Sorry.
Anyway. So a little pushback though on the mobbing thing. Like I don't think that we give enough credit to newbies on how difficult it is though to level up. Like the first 10 levels, yeah, sure. The first 10 levels are pretty easy. After that, it's actually fairly difficult. Not because you don't know, like not because the mobs are going to kill you, but finding XP is actually fairly difficult. The map that is on the web client doesn't have XP marked. The stuff that you think you can handle is out there. There's a ton of it, but you have a difficult time finding it. And that's something as experienced players that we're super. Oftentimes we're just like, yeah, you just go do this and kill that. But like,
hey, can you do me a favor real quick? Actually, I want to prove a point to you real quick.
Log
back into MUME and narrate and ask, where should a level 15 warrior be? Watch how many responses you're gonna get.
Let's see. Actually, I'm not gonna do that because that's gonna be a little too much.
Right.
I'm not gonna
do that. Do it after you end this podcast, and wait 30 minutes and post it in the Discord. You'll see that like people will tell you. Like, that's one good thing about this game. If you have simple questions like that, everyone jumps to answer your questions. People want you to succeed in this game, and that's one of the greatest. I play Darky. I want to kill literally every puke player at any given moment, but I want you to be good at it. So I'll tell you. That's why I'm giving you guys these things that I've learned, because I want you to get better at it, because I want you to try to kill me. That's fun.
You are right that our community is our best asset. On pretty much every newbie I've talked to, every single one of them has mentioned that the community has been very helpful, and that's like the main reason that they'd want to stay. Just because in a lot of other, it's no fun logging into a game and no one talking to you. Like that's kind of lame, you know. So big shout out to the community right there, you guys. Keep doing
100%.
work. Keep doing work. Anyway, it's about that time to start getting into some hot takes. We'll let Cyndane, what you thinking here, man? Give us something radical.
Something radical. Oh, I think that they should do the BN perk that they're giving out, and they should make them more towards thief mages. Give benefits to BN thief mages. Make that like a viable thing.
Wait, what? BN
so that
perk?
way, huh?
What BN perk?
Like they're giving perks to every class, basically
the
every race.
Sub-race changes.
Sub-race thing?
Yeah.
Supposedly, I'm hearing that there's going to be something for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, even if they don't, BNs are still a sub-race because they're like Dunedain and Black Numenorians are split off. Give something to lessen the awareness of people nearby, so you're more likely to land stabs. Give something to make it so that when a BN practices, like they did with Shaman, or Mage and Cleric are the same things, so they don't counteract each other as well as Thief. Make it a viable class. That's something I would absolutely love.
Thief buffs for the BN sub-race is basically what you're saying.
Thief Mage buffs.
Thief Mage buffs. So the combo specifically.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I think that would be wonderful.
Gotcha. More Thief Mages running around. There was actually a really... is it Spider? Is he just a Thief or is he a Thief Mage?
Pretty sure he's just a Thief.
Okay, there was some Thief Mage on the BN side that was really fun.
Oh, even better. Even better, make Backstab not OB dependent.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter if you don't have the Pierce skill.
Yeah, that would be huge because I stabbed I stabbed the Puke Thief to fine the other day.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that felt real good.
30 hit point backstab. You gotta love it.
Yep.
Gotta love it. All right. I don't know. Mike might have, or Taryn might have had to step out here. Not sure. But I would have to go with my hot take. I think that I would love for there to be mega quests, I should say, for higher level characters. So basically like 11 and above, there should be some like big quests. And the reason I say that, very specifically, I'm not saying like, hey, can you deliver this letter or can you go do this? I want like a large scale, like, hey, all right, so you're in Bree right now. I want to get you out of Bree. So we're going to have you, I need you to go to Warrens and I need you to bring me 4 troll corpses, kind of a thing. Like that way it forces the players, or not forces, but it gives them especially new players, it gives them a path to like, oh, I should go over here and I'm ready for it, you know? And I can get that ugly troll corpses, and then it teaches them to explore. Because one of the huge drawbacks, so I think that text-based games are actually like, I don't consider it a drawback. I really don't. I think that they have a incredibly important niche in the gaming community. But one of the drawbacks of them is you can't see stuff on the horizon. So like if you take like Breath of the Wild, for instance, you can like see like, oh my gosh, there's all that stuff I could go do. You can't see that in a MUD. So you need hints and inputs like, hey, there's this thing over here. Can you go do it? You know.
Ooh! Ivan, I just in addition to that, excuse me, make the quests like side of the war. Like for example, whichever side of the war kills more orcs and troll mobs versus elf and good align mobs, and it gives them a reason to go to places, and every little thing helps. Like a group of level 12s killing ugly trolls is benefiting the war effort, and they can do like big ones where it's conquer DT.
Yeah, exactly. Large scale quests. I'm not talking about like small stuff, like big,
like not individual based.
Maybe like it takes multiple days to accomplish it.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. I think that'd be cool. And obviously spreading that on both sides of the war would make it even more fun. So yeah, that's my hot take. But anyway, hey man, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. We've been trying to get as many different views on here as possible, so I appreciate you coming on and giving us the lowdown on Thieves. I'm sure Rogan's like rolling his eyes somewhere, being like, "No, we're not going to buff Thieves." But
well, maybe not buff them, but unnerf them. That would be cool. And I appreciate you asking me on here. I enjoyed it, and I love what you're doing with it. Yeah. I love the drive to increase the player base, because it gets me sad when I log on and I see 4 players, because this is one of the greatest games that I've ever played.
No, oh my gosh.
I hate you, John. I hate you.
Ekanamansi, it's so great that you guys are doing these back-to-back newbie guest podcasts.
Oh, man.
Brutal.
Hashtag mob shocker.
Brutal. But yes, no, absolutely. Hashtag the goal is to get to, I'd love to see 50 players on each side of the war. If we could get 50 on each side of the war, we're there.
I will never play another game again.
We're there.
Then I will, every time I play a game, if we get 50 on each side, I will never play anything.
That would be insane fun. We're not there yet, but player numbers are on the rise right now. So
thanks to you.
I'm feeling good. Well, the Rings of Power and everyone, again, like everyone's doing a great job in the community right now. We just need to get the community more involved, because everyone's got so many great ideas. But anyway, thanks again for coming on the podcast. And that was MUME Talk 8. I'll see you guys next time.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.